I think, sorry, there was an issue with my internet. Can you guys see the screen right now? Are you guys able to see that or not? I think my internet just ran out. No. Okay. Yeah, I will share it again. Just 1 second. All right, let's start with this one. Okay. Is it clear now? Yeah. Can you see it now? Yeah, all good. All right, let's start with the first one. Now there were some mistakes, but some of you actually got it right. Let's start reading from the beginning. Okay, one or two blanks in this particular question, they were a little bit tricky. So we will see those as well. All right. First step, always when you are trying to solve these questions, always try to read the text from the beginning. All right. So always start reading from the beginning. He's saying that a gas giant is a large planet that is not primarily dash of rock or other solid matter. Okay. Now, two options in this one, very simple. Not primarily containing of doesn't make sense. With of, made of, he's not talking about in the past, he's talking about is. Okay, so that means that it is in the present tense, right? I can't put made over here as well. It's either composed of or it's consist of. Okay. Now, oh, sorry, it could be made of as well. Consist of rock, composed of rock. Yeah, both of these could be right. All right. Now we have to see that which one is making more sense, and in this context or in this particular context, which one we normally use. Okay. So you have seen the same thing that, for example, when you talk about like earth is made up of this, we use this word up with that. Okay, we say, for example, the world is made up of this particular matter is made up of. There is no up over there. I was also tilted towards it's either made up or it's composed. It's either these two things. Okay, there is no up after this blank. He's just saying dash of rock. Okay, so the right answer here will be composed of rock. Okay, so first one will be composed of this. Always read the text after the blank. Okay, when you read the text after the blank, it will be much easier for you to do it. Okay. Can everyone hear me properly? Shakila, I think your system's voice is down because I think I've my volume is full, so maybe you need to increase the volume from your side. I'm already speaking too loud, so just make sure that you raise your volume. Okay. So the first one will be composed of a rock or other solid matter. All right. Then he's saying that gas giants may have a rocky gas giants may have a rocky or metallic core. In fact, such a core is thought to be required for a gas giant to form. So he's talking about a gas giant, which is like a form of a large planet. So it has a rocky surface, metallic core, and core is thought to be required for a gas giant to form. So basically, core is needed for that. But the dash of its mass is in the form of gases, hydrogen, and helium, with traces of water, methane, ammonia, and other hydrogen compounds. But the dash of its mass. So he's talking about, so there is a gas giant like this, like a circular kind of a thing. I will try to draw it over here as well. So sort of like a circular kind of a thing. And then he's talking about there is a core inside, and then there are traces of water, methane, ammonia, and another hydrogen. Dash of its mass is in the form of this. What? So majority or most. You should be doubtful between these two. Vast of, we never say that. Overall of, that's not correct as well. Okay. Most and majority both have the exact same meaning. Whenever you guys have the exact same meaning, I will write it down over here. When you have the exact meaning, two words with the exact meaning and exact grammar, then just go with the more academic word. Okay. Try to use the word which is more academic or which is more formal. Out of most we normally use it in a very generic kind of a way. Majority, it's little bit formal than that. Okay, so in that case, when I'm doubtful between these two, both are going with of, we say most of, we say majority of, then I will just select majority, which is the more academic way of saying that. Okay, so two words with the same meaning and the same preposition, just make sure that you put the more academic word. Vast also means like huge, which means, but we can't really say it's a vast, You can say surface, it's a like ground is very vast, area is vast, like it's very huge in that kind of a sense we normally use, but we never say vast of its mass. Okay, so that is why it can't be vast. Okay, next one, dash rocky planets which have a clearly defined difference dash atmosphere and dash surface. Gas giants do not have a well defined surface. Look at that. Here he's saying some planets have clearly defined, and then he's saying it does not have. So basically, that means that in this particular blank, there is something opposite which is happening, or something contradictory is happening, right? Now you have to look out for the word which has the contrary meaning, or which has the opposite meaning, or which is used for the contradictory statement. Look at that. Similarly, I will never put that in, because similarly means if I'm talking about the same thing. So let's say if I'm talking whole positive, I further have to explain something in positive, then only I will use similarly. But here I'm not going to do that. So that is why similarly is out of the question. Contrasting rocky planets, we normally won't start the sentence with contrasting this. In PT, you will never encounter that. So that will definitely be an incorrect one. Contrary rock planets, that also doesn't make sense. With this, if you want to use contrary, you will always use this phrase together. On the contrary, you will never say contrary dash dash dash. Okay, that won't be right unless you are using it in the middle of it. So using the process of elimination or eliminating all the answers, I will be left with only one answer, which will be unlike. So unlike rocky planets, which have a clearly defined difference dash atmosphere and surface. That's a very simple one. I think all of you got it right. Difference between atmosphere and surface. Okay, so difference between these two things. He's talking about two things, atmosphere and surface. So when it's only two, then you will put difference. If it is more than two, then it will be among. Okay, so here he is talking about only atmosphere and the surface. That is why I will use between over here. Clear? So here, that is how you will interpret that whether it's talking about the similar thing or he's talking about something in a contradictory kind of a way. He is saying not have a well-defined surface, and before he was saying clearly defined difference, and then that. Okay, so that is the difference which he was talking about. Next one, their atmosphere simply become gradually denser dash the core, perhaps with liquid or liquid states in between. One cannot land on such planets in its traditional sense. So basically, he's talking about like, unlike rocky planets, they have a clearly defined, they don't have it. Their atmosphere simply become gradually denser dash the core. So basically, he wants to say when you reach the core, the atmosphere become more dense. What word will be there if I'm saying along the core? It's not along means like, for example, it's a road, you're going alongside that, you're going side by side, so that's along. Here he's not talking about, he's saying right at that point it's more. The right answer here will be toward the core. Like when you reach towards the core, the atmosphere will be more dense, and it will be made up of liquid or liquid like states in between. Okay, not in the core, because you can't go inside the core. He's just talking about towards that core. All right, so the first one, primarily composed of, because it's not consist, it's not made up of, we normally use consist of, we use this word together. But with consist here we can't use it, because whenever sometimes you know that okay, with of I can use most, I can use consist, I can use composed, you will be very confused, I know that. But whenever you have these options, you have to think in the scientific terms as well, or in which sense he is using. This whole text is talking about rocks and stuff, right? You, if let's say you have read some books, or you watch some news or something, anywhere you will encounter that this rock is composed of this matter, earth is composed of hydrogen, helium, whatever. Okay, that word is used, or we say that is made up of this. Okay, we can't say it consists of. All right, so that is why the right answer here will be is primarily composed of rocks and stuff. Okay, we don't need to read from to sorry, what does that mean? I couldn't get the question, ma'am. Can you repeat that? Read from dash to dash. Which blank you are saying? All right. Rest of you, just send your answers. Sorry, just send your scores in the chat. I saw some 4. Did anyone get all of these correct? Towards, when you are pointing about something like particular thing, okay, this is where I want to be. So then you will say towards this, okay. Here he is talking about denser towards the core. Like when you reach the core, it's denser towards that. Okay, so that is why it will be towards. Okay. Second line after core to third line before but. Okay, let me just understand your question. We don't need to read from, like if you're talking about like general reading, I will recommend try to read the text whenever it's starting from the sentence. Always read from there and always read at least till here. Okay, so that you know the context very, very carefully. Some students, what they do, they don't read the whole thing, they just try to skim the text. So make sure that you um read the text. Okay, how much you have to be correct? Yeah, Kritika, if you like, for example, I think last Friday or something, I think Varun made a video where he did the test, where it says that how much you can score to get 7 and 8. So we figure out that your around 75% of your blanks should be correct to get 7 or 8 each. I think it was more than that, I forgot, but you have to get it right. Okay, so if you are getting like maybe 20, so 75% of that. So let's say if you're getting 10, so 7.5 or 8 should be correct, 2 can be wrong. All right, to get 7 or 8. All right, so you need to work on these blanks. 4 is fine. If you're getting one wrong in all, that will still work. But you can watch that video. He did this experiment recently, so I think that will be helpful for you. Okay. All right, any questions, any doubts in this one? Okay, let's do a little bit tricky one. You guys got good scores, which is good to see. Because before I saw there were a lot of 3s and 2s, but now it's good to see that most of you are getting 4 or 5, which is a very good thing. Let's start with this one. I'll give you 2.5 minutes again. It's sort of like a political one. Sometimes they are tricky, but most of the times they are not. Okay, so don't worry about that. I'll give you 2.5 minutes, then we will discuss that in detail. Okay. All right, guys, this is actually an easy one. Okay, it's not hard. Trust me, if you focus a little bit, you should be able to get your answers right. So just make sure, think, and I want more 5 out of 5 in this one. Okay, so don't, if you get any easy one, your target should be to get full points. Okay, don't make a single mistake. With this one, I got few answers, not a lot. There are like 34 of you. But still, I think there were only like 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There were only 9 to 10 answers. Okay. I'll give you a little bit more time, just 1 or 2 more minutes, because we have to move on with more questions. Because last time also we did less, so I want you to do some more questions, especially reorder paragraph today. So just send your answers in the chat. I'll give you 1 more minute, then we'll begin. All right, let's begin with this one. Now, as I was solving, as I told you, I personally thought that this one was much easier than the last one. Okay, so I don't know why I found it easy. Just let me, yeah. Okay. All right, let's start reading it again from the beginning. First step, always start the sentence from the beginning. All right. The Constitution of the United States is the dash of democracy and the protector of human rights, guaranteeing the equality of justice. Is the dash of democracy. Like, it's a very simple one. It's like, without even looking at the option, something like whole democracy rely on that, right? That word comes into my mind. Like, for example, if I'm translating into my own head, my mind will go towards that democracy is dependent on this thing. Is the dash of democracy. Skeletal beginning doesn't make any sense. You can't say it's a beginning of democracy. Constitution is not the beginning. Constitution means like on which the whole law is relied on. All right. So, or in the Constitution of the United States is the dash of democracy. If it was basis of democracy, then I would say base of. But the right answer for this one will be foundation of democracy. Like, the whole democracy actually stands on this constitution. Everyone has to follow the constitution, whether it's your law, whether it's your parliament, whether it's your senate, whether it's your judges, etc. That is the whole basis, or that is the whole foundation of the democracy. Okay. Skeletal means pivotal point of something, but we can't say skeletal of democracy. Skeletal means skeletal is used like a skeleton kind of a thing. So basically the whole structure of democracy, that's the meaning, but we can't use off with that. Okay. So that is why I won't be using this one. All right. So the right answer here will be foundation. But if there, instead of base of democracy, it says basis of democracy, like the whole democracy is dependent on that, then I might have put basis. Okay, depending on the context again. All right. So the first one will be foundation of democracy. Second one was very simple. I don't know why a lot of you made mistakes in this one. It says that, and the protector of human rights. So Constitution is the protector of human rights, guaranteeing the equality of justice, dash race, sex, or social status. Like, no matter what the social status is, no matter what the sex is, no matter what the race is, it will guarantee the equality of justice. So what will be the word? You can't say against race or this. Like, they are not guaranteeing something against that. A lot of you put against. I don't know why. Because try to understand that he is not saying guarantee the equality of justice against race, sex, or this. Okay, you're not against that. Regardless of, the right answer will be regardless of that. No matter what the race is, no matter what the sex is, no matter what the social status is, there is a constitution of United States that will guarantee the equality of justice, so that no matter what the person is, he will get justice according to the constitution. All right. So the right answer here will be this one. Despite is used when we are talking about something in a continuous way. Okay. Despite going there, I was doing this. All right. So in that sense, we normally use despite. Here again, despite race, this, it won't be, like, contextually as well as grammatically, I would say it won't be making too much of a sense. All right. Then this, since Marbury versus Madison, the Supreme Court has stood as the final arbitrary interpreter of this constitution. So basically, the final say was of Supreme Court, a document drafted and adopted in a different era, reflecting the principles of a young country based upon an unsophisticated agricultural society. Historically, the debate dashed the meaning and philosophy of the constitution. Debate dash. So that is totally a preposition based. Always remember, write it down if you want. With debate, we will use the word over. Debating over this matter. So for example, if you're watching some TV shows or something, they will say all the participants, they're debating over this matter. Okay. Debate on as well we use in, if it's talking about something like some issue or something, we might use that, but normally with debate, 90 to 95% of the times we will be using over. Debate over the meaning of philosophy. What is the meaning of this? Okay, so always remember this, write it down if you want. So in anywhere if it comes, just make sure that debate over this, over the meaning. Okay. Next one, as a society, we leave it to the Supreme Court to sort out and dash the enduring values of society. That's a very simple blank. Okay. The right answer here will be protect. Why it is protect? Let me explain you the reason for those who got it wrong. I think very less people got it wrong though. I think you should know this rule. Whenever there is and, if there is 2 before and, 2 plus first form before and, there will be first form after and as well. Okay, this is known as rule of parallelism. Okay, for example, if before and there is ing form, you will put ing form before and after and. If there is ed form before and, you will use ed form after and. Look at that. As a society, we leave it to the Supreme Court to sort out and dash. Now look at that tense. He's saying to sort out. First form of verb, to dash the enduring values of the society. I can't say safeguards, I can't say preventive, I can't say prevailing. The right answer here will be to protect. So safeguards, because it has S or ES form. All right, so that is why we can't use safeguards. All right, so it has to be the first form of verb. All right, clear? If it was safeguard, to sort out and safeguard the enduring values, then I might have put that. Okay, then it would be more academic and I would have put safeguard. But because of this S, I won't be using this. All right. All right, next one. However, the Reagan administration's aggressive advocacy of its perception of constitutional justice dashed the debate from the isolated hollowed halls of the university to the front pages of the news. So basically, it took that race from there, okay, or they started that race. Now, what word should be there? Here he's saying was driving, drives. First of all, everything is going in the present tense. If you look at the whole thing, he's saying we leave it to in the beginning as well. He's talking about is, everything is going in the present tense. So was driving won't be right. It's either drives, is driven, or has driven. Reagan administration aggressive advocacy of its perception of constitutional justice dashed the debate. I told you guys that drives or SES form or first form of verb with SES form, we use it only when we are talking about something related to um, a habit, something that happens very regularly, or something that is sort of like a part of a lifestyle. He goes to school every day, he walks daily, something like this. We will use SES form. This perception of justice is not happening on the daily basis. It's not like a routine or something. It's not like they do it on the daily basis. That is why the right answer will be has driven. Like they have done that. It has already been done. Okay. If I can speak in Hindi, I will tell you it means that chuka hai. It has already been done. Okay. Like it has been done. All right. So perception has driven, like it has driven the debate from the isolated halls to the of the universities to the front pages of the news. Okay, clear? Why is driven? Is it it is a passive voice? Which one? Is driven is the passive voice. But advocacy of his constitution justice is driven the debate doesn't make sense. That is the subject here. Okay, so it's not in the passive voice. Okay, perception of constitution justice dash the debate. So that is something who is doing the work. If it was is driving, then I might have put that, but not is driven, because your sentence is not in the passive voice. It's the active sentence. Okay. That is the subject, perception of constitutional justice. That is something on which the debate is happening, right? So is driving the debate. If it was is driving, then I might have put is driving. Okay. But is driven, grammatically, it will be incorrect because it's not the passive sentence. It is an active one. Okay. First form and after. Yeah. Just remember this rule. Whenever there is and given over there, if you have first form of verb before and, you will use first form of verb after and. This is known as rule of parallelism. Like it has to be parallel. Okay. If there is ing form before and then you got a blank after and, there will be ing form in that one. If it says has done before blank, there is and then there is a blank, you will put has something after and as well. Okay, so basically you will write something in parallel. Okay, so rule of parallelism, you have to be careful about. I personally used to solve a lot of blanks with this rule. Okay, so make sure that you apply that. Sir, I am so fifth 2 plus first form or only first form before. any form. Okay, just forget about this one. I was just giving an example over here. Okay, let me raise that. I think you guys are getting confused a bit. Okay, whenever there is and, anything before and anything after and, it will be similar. Okay, for example, let's say if there is ing form before and, there will be ing form after and. Similarly, if there is ed form before and, there will be ed form after and. If there is ses form before and, there will be ses form after and as well. Okay, that is known as rule of parallelism. Okay, so I think personally it used to help me a lot. I think it will be helping you as well. All right, so make sure that you apply this rule whenever you are solving. All right, for the fifth one, as I told you before, okay, I will just quickly explain that. So the first one was foundation, second one was regardless of, third one was over, then protect. Yeah, is driven won't be there because it's not in the passive voice. The sentence is in the active voice. That is the subject. Okay, you know who is doing the work. Everything is happening because of perception of constitutional justice. So it's not is driven. Drives mean when you're talking about some regular thing or the regular activity which is happening on the daily basis or frequently, like most of the time that thing is happening. Okay, he goes for a walk, like you are doing it for the daily basis, so that's something which is your part of a routine, then we will use s or es form. Here is not talking about that, so that is why was driving won't be there. The right answer will be has driven because my sentence is in the present tense. Okay, in Hindi it means that it has happened, like kar chuka hai. Okay, so that is why the right answer here will be has driven. Okay, Amritpal, and there was someone else who got Minu. Is it clear? Where is mentioned? What mentioned? Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Anita couldn't get the question. I didn't say anything about the mentioned. Has driven is the answer. Did you get it? Anita, can you write the whole question in one go? I couldn't understand what you're saying. All right. Any other doubts in this one? So again, there were a lot of threes in this one. Not good. All right, let's do one more. Then we will move on towards the reorder paragraph. Okay. Yeah. Think of it like you are in the exam room now. You have to get that question right. Okay, so make sure that you do that. No mistake. Let me just zoom it out a bit. Okay, let's do one. Now this one, try to get all of these correct. Okay, make sure that you are not making any single mistake. All right, let's start with this one. Good to see some good answers, but I was disappointed. Like second one should be correct. Like all of you should have got that one right, but few of you only did. Most of you still made mistakes in this one. First one was very simple. I think all of you got that one correct. Let's see. Firstly, he's saying that every year on April 22nd, Earth Day dash the anniversary of the birth of the modern environmental movement. Okay. Earth Day dash the anniversary. Launch the anniversary. Earth Day can't launch anything. Earth Day invents the anniversary doesn't make any sense as well. Has started, that is not someone who is going to start. He's talking about the day. So the right answer will be marks the anniversary, means it's the representation of the anniversary of modern environmental movement in 1970. Okay. So every year on April 22nd, Earth Day marks the movement of like environmental movement in 1970, right? Very clear. In the decades leading up to the first Earth Day, now he's talking about something in the past, okay? Like decades leading up to this, Americans dash vast amounts of leaded gas through massive and inefficient automobiles. Now he's telling you the condition of Americans before 1970, decades before. Had consumed means they have consumed, now they are not doing it. He didn't say that. He's saying decades leading up to that, they had been, if it was had been consuming, then I would have put that. Americans dash, there is a subject given over here. Okay, so that means sentences in the active voice. Have consumed, would be consuming, won't be right because it's not talking about something in the present, it's talking about something in the past. The right answer here will be were consuming. Americans, that is plural, so I will use were consuming. If I am putting had consumed, that means that they had consumed now, but now they are not doing it. He didn't say that. He's saying up to this point, leading up to the first Earth Day, like up until the first birthday, they were consuming, like they were consuming a lot of leaded gas. There are a lot of inefficient automobiles as well. So that is why the right answer will be were consuming. If it was had consumed, it has already been done. Now they're not doing it, which won't be right. Because of this word leading up to this, I will put were consuming. Also remember in your PTE, I have seen very little blanks where had will be used, like had done or something. Okay, most of the times we normally won't use this word too much. Okay, so just remember this going forward. All right. Consider it your last choice. If you have no other option, then only select that. Otherwise, most of the time had won't be there. 90% of the times he will be talking about either in the simple past tense or were going or was going, something like that. Okay, clear? Next one, air pollution was commonly accepted as the smell of prosperity. So basically, they consider air pollution as the sense of success. Okay, prosperity means to be successful or prosperous. Okay, until this point, up till that point, mainstream America remained largely dash to environmental concerns. Okay, dash to environmental concerns. With unaware, we use the preposition of. Okay, unaware of the circumstances. I was unaware of the situation. I was unaware of the plan, something like this. I can't say unaware to environmental concern. That won't be the right answer. Avoidable, we can't say largely avoidable to environmental concerns. That won't be right as well. Okay, it's either insensible to or oblivious to. Oblivious means like they don't know it, or oblivion means something which is imaginary kind of a thing, like they don't even consider this a problem. Okay, for example, for these people pollution was oblivious, like they don't even consider that. Okay, insensible means like they know it but still they don't act on it. So basically they don't even know that the pollution or air pollution is a problem, they just consider it as a success. So the right answer will be oblivious to. Okay, largely insensible to environmental concerns. With insensible also we sometimes use of, and you can use from as well. Okay, clear? So oblivious to, that's a easy one, I would say. Even if you don't know the meaning, you will still be able to get it right because of the process of elimination. Okay, now they were oblivious to this. Dash, the stage was set for change with the publication of Rachel Carson's New York Times bestseller Silent Spring in 1962. So now something contradictory. So they were like they were inconsiderate or they were oblivious to this. Now, in spite, we can't say in spite, comma. with in spite, I will write it down over here. You will always say in spite of. You can't use in spite alone. All right. Always remember that. If there is no of after blank, never ever put in spite. Okay. Then already the stage was set, doesn't make sense. The right answer here will be however, because these three, they are the ones who are talking about the same, sorry, these two are talking about the same thing. So the right answer here will be however. Okay. Stage was set. The book represented a watershed moment, selling more than 500,000 copies in 24 countries as it raised public dash. Public what? And concern. Okay. Dash and concern for living organisms. So the right answer here will be public awareness. Okay. That's a very simple one. Right. So the first one was marks. Second one was were consuming. Then oblivious, however, and awareness. Okay. All right, let's see the marks now. I am expecting some good marks. Shakila, you got 2. Why? Jignesha, just be careful. Satinder, you're doing good. Newton, you need to be more careful about that. Please repeat fourth. Yeah, fourth one, he is talking about the contradictory statement. Pawan, you need to work on that. Here he is saying, up till this point, they remain largely dash to this, like oblivious to the environmental concern, like they don't even care about that. However, stage was set for the change. Now people wanted change. Okay, like they don't want to just continue with the same situation. So that is why it will be used however when you want to talk about something in a contradictory statement. Okay, I can't put in spite, which is the other word which is used for the contradictory statement. So that is why the other option will be however. How it is contradictory? Because um just a second. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, so why it is contradictory? Since he's talking about environmental concerns here. So the idea of the story is people don't care about that stuff. People don't even care about the environmental concern. So because of that, stage was set for the New York Times seller, and people they start reading about that pollution. Okay, so that is the contradiction which I was talking about. All right, clear? Like first they don't know, but now they started to know about that. Why can't we use have consumed? Because he's talking about in the decades leading up to me. Okay. That is what he's talking about in the past. 1971st Earth Day, he's talking about in the past. So I can't say have. Have is the past, have is the present tense. Okay. So I can't use present. It has to be something in the past. So that is why the only available options are were consuming or had consumed. All right. So out of these two, since the subject is given, so were consuming, because he's saying leading up to that point. So up until that point, they are consuming that. So that is why it will be were consuming. Okay. Clear? First step for the grammar questions or the grammar blanks. Read, try to understand the tense. First, simply decide your mind should go on two things: present, past, whatever the tense is. Let's say it's past. Eliminate all the present options, focus on the past. Look at the subject. Is it given or not? Given, it's in the active voice. Eliminate all the passive ones. You will be left with the right answer. If it's in passive, eliminate all the active ones. You will be left with one or two choices. Whatever is making more sense according to the context, you will just select that. Grammar questions, I personally found very easy because they are short answers. Like guarantee your answer will be correct. So I don't want you guys to make any mistakes in these ones. All right. So make sure that you get those correct. Okay. All right. Any other questions or any other doubts? Okay, now we will move towards your favorite part of your reading, which is your reorder paragraph. Everyone loves that, I know. So we are going to do two questions. I won't exert too much on you, and then we will do some reading blanks. All right. We will start with this one. Try to get the answer right, and then we will see how you do it. Okay. Yeah, few and many are used for plurals. Yes, you're right. All right, let's do this one. I'll give you like 2.5 minutes, and then we will do that. All right, let's start with this one. Okay, most of you got the answer right. I think it's a very simple one. So this one should be correct. Okay, you will be very lucky if you get that kind of a question in the real exam. Nowadays, although I have heard or like a lot of my students, they're saying that reorders are not getting that tough. Okay, like that's the feedback that we got from another one. Like other students as well, that it's not that hard. So hopefully you will get some easy questions as well in the real exam. So that one was very easy one. First thing, whenever you're solving your reorder paragraph, you have to look at, you have to read all of these 4 sentences and you have to figure out what will be the first sentence. Okay. Now, identification of the first sentence, you should have learned it in the strategy class. It should be very generic. It should be very self-explanatory. There should not be any previous information attached to it. And it's sort of giving you like an introduction. Okay. So let's start. Look at the context. The commission investigated human rights crimes during nearly 5 decades. Okay. What do you mean by commission? What commission is he talking about? I don't know. And da is used with something specific. So the commission. What commission? I'm not sure. So that is why I won't put that answer as my first. Still, I will read it. During nearly 5 years, decades of apartheid, the system of legislation. So basically, that is the system of legislation that have upheld segregationist laws and perpetrated racist violence. Okay. So that is the commission that investigated these things. Okay. It can't be my first one because it's not a very generic kind of a statement. In South Africa, Nelson Mandela and his ruling political party, the African National Congress, created a Truth and Reconciliation Commission in 1995 upon coming to power. Very simple, very generic, telling me what that commission is. Its name is Truth and Reconciliation Commission. Okay, so it can be my first one, but I won't decide it because I haven't read the other options. Okay. But the commission stipulated that only those who had testified to the commission about apartheid injustices, about 21,000 people could claim reparations. What do you mean by but? That means something contradictory is happening. I can't put it as my first one. Okay. The commission also established. What do you mean also established? It can't be my first one as well. Okay. So very simple. My first sentence will be B, that there is a commission that is formed, which is known as Truth and Reconciliation Commission. Now he's saying commission also established. He hasn't mentioned their properties first, like what it actually do. I don't know yet, but is used with contradictory. So I don't know anything yet. So how can I contradict that? Okay, so I can't put any other option. The right answer here will be option A. Very easy one. Now he will tell you what that commission is about and what it actually does. The commission investigated human rights crime during nearly 5 decades of apartheid, the system of legislation that upheld this. So that is the purpose of the commission. Okay. Now, most of you got B and A right. There was a mistake after that. For this one, the right answer will be BADC. Why? He told you what commission does. Commission also established a program recommending its 2003 final report that victims of apartheid receive roughly US $35,000. So he will, let's say I'm telling you something first, positive, negative. I can't go something first, then I told about something negative, then I will again positive. It won't happen. First, I will discuss all the positive things, then I will discuss all the negative things. So it will always go like this. First, he is saying commission does this. Commission also established that. However, what happened? But the commission stipulated that only those who had testified to the commission about apartheid injustices, 21,000 people could claim reparation. So what do you mean by claim reparations? One which he's talking about over here, $35,000, sorry, $3,500 over the next 6 years. Okay. So the right answer will be B, A, D, and C. Okay. Positive first, then negative. You can't say positive, negative, and then again positive. You can't put but in the middle. All right. So that is why the right answer will be this one. Clear? I think you guys, any questions, any doubts in this one? I think you should be very happy with this question. It's a much easier one. I hope you get these kind of questions in the real exam as well. All right. Good job. Nice to see some very good answers. Good. All right, let's do one more. I know most of you got 3 out of 3. Let's do this one. Again, maintain the same momentum. All right. I'm hoping you will get 3 out of 3 in this one as well. Okay, so just follow the same thing, spend time on this, and hopefully you will get it right. All right. Again, very good to see a lot of correct answer in this one as well. I don't know whether these sentences are easy or sometimes I've seen that if you have got only 4 or 5 sentences, they're much easier. But when students get like 6 or 7 sentences, then they lose their mind. They're like, oh, I don't know how will I do that. But good to see the progress. You guys are doing difficult questions correctly and easy questions, you're making mistakes. I don't know why. All right. Good job though. This one, a lot of you got it right. Okay. Let's start. Follow the same thing. I will quickly review it because since all of you almost are correct, 3 trainings per year involve first responders from the city as well as from Boston University. 3 trainings per year. What is training from the city? What city is talking about? I have no idea. It can't be my first one. Okay. These are done. What do you mean by these are done? I don't know. Okay. Always look out for the words. I always say it in the strategy class as well. These, their, them, then, he, she, it, this, they, such, which. These kind of words, they are very important in your reorder paragraph. Okay, if you try to figure out the meaning of these words, you can very easily get the idea what he's talking about. These are done. What do you mean by these are done? That means it can't be my first one. Live drills or tabletop exercises with experts walking through what an emergency would look like. Okay, an important aspect of safety is making sure everyone knows what to do in an emergency. Very simple, very generic. Okay, community members are also part of the exercises. What do you mean by also part of the exercises? So it can't be my first one. So very simple, first one will be C. That now only rely on the information that you get from C. Important aspect of safety is making sure everyone knows what to do in an emergency. Okay, 3 trainings per year involve first responders from the city as well as from Boston University. So now training for what? Training for an emergency. Okay, so the right answer will be CA, and then it will be these are done. What do you mean by these are done? He is talking 3 training, so these are done. So CAB, and the last one will be are also taking part of the exercises. So they are also doing these exercises. What exercises? Which are drills or top exercises. He is introducing the word exercises over here as well. Okay, what an emergency would look like. So the first one was C, he will define you. Then there are 3 trainings. After that, these are done, and then community community members are also part of the exercises. All right. Good job, everyone. You are doing really good. Proud of you guys. Okay. Let's follow the same momentum in your reading blanks as well. Okay, so make sure that these are correct. All right, let's start with this one. Little bit, not that hard. Let's see how you do it. Okay, but follow the same momentum. I think you will feel much more confident. Okay, reading is something like this. Okay, once you get the momentum, you should be able to maintain that. All right, spend time on this. Let's give you 2.5 minutes, and then we will do some of these reading blanks. All right, 1.5 more minutes. So just send your answers. You guys are doing good. All right, let's start with this one. Again, I think most of you got this right. Okay, good job. It is an actually, yeah, it's a good one. Not that easy, but I think it's a good one. You guys are understanding it correctly now. Okay, good job. Let's again start reading it from the beginning. What I want to show you is that the process is similar. Okay, so as long as you adopt that, any question you can solve it. Okay. He's saying that researchers placed motion activated cameras on the trails in and around the South Chiltern Mountains Provincial Park in southwestern BC, a region popular for its wildlife. So, region which is popular for its wildlife and dash activities. So, some sort of like activities, like fun activities or something. Let's look out for the noun. You can't say significantly activities, freshly determining. So, the only adjective here is recreational activities. Okay, like fun activities. So I will put recreational over here. I think all of you got it right. Um, Yatam, you put resolving. What do you mean by resolving activities? You can't say resolving activity. Resolve means to solve something, resolve a problem, resolve an issue. Okay, so you can't resolve any activity. All right, so be careful with that. Rest, I think all of you got it right. Then, overall, they found that environmental factors like the elevation or condition of the forest around a camera location were generally more important than human activity in dash how often wildlife use that trail in dash. Even without looking at the options, I know that it's something like in finding out something or somewhat related to that. Insignificantly, in occasional, in freshly, in ignore doesn't make sense. So the right answer will be in determining. In determining that issue or in determining that more important than how important how often wildlife use the trail. Okay. Are you guys hearing me properly? Yeah, I think it's fine. So the second one. No? Okay. Ooh. Is it clear now? Now it's okay. All right, perfect. All right, so the second one will be determining. Since he's talking about finding it down, so it will be determining. All right. Then, however, there were still significant impacts. What? Deeper analysis of trail. So trail means like the walks which you do. For example, if you go to the Royal National Park or any other park, there's a trail over there. So basically, they want to say that whether they are working properly or how people are responding to that. Deeper analysis shows use captured by the camera showed that all wildlife tended to dash places that were visited by recreational users. What? So if let's say you are using a particular trail or particular walking track on the daily basis, wildlife animals won't go there. So what will be the answer? Ignore or avoid? I can't say ignore places. Wildlife can't ignore it. So they will avoid going to that places. And he is also using the same word later on in the paragraph, avoided mountain bikers. All right. So I will be absolutely sure that he's talking about avoid. Okay. Um, that word dash visited by recreational users. Two words are there. Freshly visited, occasional visited doesn't make sense. If it was occasionally means very few sometimes. He's not talking about that. So basically want to say more like people who are using it on the daily basis. Freshly, recently. Look out for the more academic word. You will be very, like it will be very easy. You will just put recently. We can't say it was freshly visited by them. We say it was recently visited by them. Like some people recently went there. Okay. And they avoided mountain bikers and motorized vehicle dash more than they did hikers and horseback riders. Something like more than that, far more, or some adjective related to that. The other answer which is making sense will be significantly more than they did for the other one. Okay, so I will just put significantly over there. Okay, I think most of you got 4 or 5. Why 4 occasional? You can't say they were occasional visited. Occasional means which is very rare, very rare. Okay, I occasionally go to his house, like I sometimes go there. It's not, he's talking about which is regularly visited. So which is recently visited by recreation. So if someone has already been to these trails, wildlife animals will be avoiding that place because they will feel like it's dangerous for them. Okay, so that is why it will be um it will be recent. Which one was it? Yeah, recently. Okay, all good. All right, let's do the last task of today. Good job again. 4545. Let's do this one, and then we will discuss that in detail. Okay, consider it like that's your last one. So let's just keep the same performance. You guys are doing really good today. So just finish it on the high note. Okay, let's do this one. All right, let's start with this one. I am looking at good answers in this task as well. Good job. Two also. Okay. Yeah. All right, let's start. Research has shown that music related hobby dash language skills and affects the processing of speech in the brain. Very simple rule. We just discussed that. Okay. Now, I don't know why most of you put, now, not most, some of you put enhanced, like Meenu, Sachin, Karnal, you put enhanced as well. Rajni, you put enhanced. Why? We just saw this rule. I explained that in very detailed manner. Whenever you have and, there is SES form before and affects the processing of speech. Dash language skills and affects. There is an SES form over here. I have to put some SES form over there as well. Okay, what is the SES form? You will just put boosts over there. Okay, so that one was the easiest one. Okay, so guys, please don't make mistakes in these kind of questions. But most of you got it right, which is very good to see that you guys are learning. Shakila, you are right. Manish, you are right as well. Vam, Sarbjeet, all of you got it. Jignesha, good job. Rishabh as well, Osama, you guys are doing good. So the first one will be boost language skills. We just discussed that rule of parallelism. Okay, so make sure that you apply these rules. Don't just listen to it, you have to apply it. Otherwise, these classes won't be helpful for you at all. Okay, so just make sure that you put these rules into practice, and trust me, that will definitely improve your score. Okay. According to a new study, the reverse dash happens. So basically, he's saying that music related hobby boosts language skills. So they will boost the skills and affects the processing of speech in the brain. But reverse dash happens. Reverse can happen something like this. The only word here related to this is also. So reverse can also happen. Okay. What? Learning foreign languages can affect the processing of music in the brain. Okay. So that's a new finding, or according to the new study. Research director Mari has found that link in the brain between language acquisition and music processing in Chinese elementary school pupils age 8 to 11 by dash for one school year. Children who attended that by dash what? Something by dash which is happening or continuous. So the right answer will be by monitoring. Okay, you can't say by observed, so you will put by monitoring. Okay, so they monitored it by monitoring for one school year. Children who attended a music training program and a similar program for the English language. Brain responses dash with auditory processing were measured. Responses dash with. The right answer here will be associated with. So that's the only preposition which goes with that. You can't say observed with. Associated with auditory processing, meaning auditory means the one which is related to your hearing. So brain responses associated with your hearing measured in children before and after the programs. 𝗙𝗿𝗃𝗍 compared the results to dash of children. Now, to these of children or those of children, the right answer here will be those of children. What is the difference? Meaning is the same. Whenever it's referring to the object, which is children, you will put those. If it is referring to the subject, then you will put these. Okay, so that's the only difference between these two. Always remember that. Okay, so the right answer here will be those. Okay, and first, I think skills and effects, the rule is S is following. What? Enhanced with fourth blank. Yeah, responses enhanced with auditory processing won't be right, because brain responses associated with, related to, so brain will be responding, so auditory process will happen, then your brain will respond to that, right? So that is why it won't be enhanced, it will be associated with, or it will be related to this. Okay. Yeah, Shakila, you're saying, yeah, so these is used when it's referring to some subject. These children are going to do that. Those will be like when you are referring to the object side of things. Okay, result to those of children who attended. Okay, so that's the only difference between these two. Okay, did you get it? 𝗂𝗃𝗃𝗍𝗃, first form of verb. Which one you are saying? Can you please repeat for these and those? I've already done that. Let me see. There were a few more questions. Why not observation for third? By observation wasn't be right. If it was by observing, then it would be correct, because it has to be something like in the continuous way he's saying. In Chinese elementary school, pupils aged 8 to 11 by dash, by monitoring or observing for 1 school year. Okay, look at that, for 1 school year. You can't say by observation for 1 school year. By observing them for 1 year or by monitoring them. This comma shouldn't be here, but sometimes in a figure of speech kind of a way, or it depends on the writing process, they use this kind of comma. I think because of this comma, it will be a little bit more confusing for you guys. Otherwise, it should have been clear. Okay. Yes, after two, we will use first form of verb. Last one. Results to dash of children. If you are putting verb after two, then only first form. Otherwise, don't just put any first form. Okay. To those of children, those will be referring to these children, which is given in the object of this. So that is why it will be. To those. Okay. Only in case of verb, you will put first form. Here, there is no verb which is required. All right. Verb is already here, which is attended. Okay. I always make mistake with these. Okay, now it should be clear. Hopefully you won't make mistake now. All right. Any other questions or any other doubts in today's session? Any confusion if you guys have? I think today was much improved than your last attempt, which is very good or very encouraging to see. It means that you guys are learning. I don't know whether the questions were easy or what, but definitely there is an improvement. So hats off to you guys. Good job. Keep it up. Yeah, hopefully if you don't have any question, I will see you guys very soon, hopefully tomorrow. Thank you. Have a good night. Those of you who are in Sydney and those of you who are in India, have a good rest of your day. Thank you so much. You really enjoyed the class. Oh, that's good to hear. Thank you. I'll see you guys soon. Bye bye.